Accounting Tools for Business Decision Making, 8th edition. This is problem 17-4. So the textbook authors are Paul Kimmel, Jerry Weingart, and Jill Mitchell. The question used in the presentation is copyright 2022 by John Wiley and Sons. All rights are reserved. This is for educational purposes only. The video may not be distributed or redistributed without the express permission of Wiley. The solution presentation is copyright 2022 by Bennett Tchaikovsky. All rights are reserved. The opinions contained within this presentation are those of Bennett Tchaikovsky and not the authors of the textbook or of Wiley. Okay, so before we say thank you, Wiley, let's go ahead and take a look at our particular question. So we've got a winery, and I apologize for how small the typing on this is. There's books out there, and that's what you can go. Sure, you can find it out there, but let's just kind of go through this. So Benton produces 2 grades of non-alcoholic wine from grapes that it buys from California growers. It produces and sells roughly 3 million liters per year of a low-cost, high-volume product called Cool Day. It sells this in 600,000 5-liter jugs. Benton also produces and sells roughly 300,000 liters per year of low-volume, high-cost product called Light Mist. Light Mist is sold in 1-liter bottles. Based on recent data, Cool Day product has not been as profitable as Light Mist. Management is considering dropping the inexpensive Cool Day so it can focus more on the Light Mist product. The Light Mist product already demands considerably more attention than Cool Day. Jack Eller, president and founder of Benton, is skeptical about this idea. Points out that for many decades, the company only produced the Cool Day line and was always quite profitable. It wasn't until the company started producing the more complicated Light Mist wine that the profitability of Cool Day declined. Prior to the introduction of Light Mist, the company had basic equipment, simple production procedures, and virtually no need for quality control. How interesting. Because Light Mist is bottled in 1-liter bottles, it requires considerably more time and effort, both to bottle and to label and box than does Cool Day. The company must bottle and handle 5 times as many bottles of Light Mist to sell the same quantity as Cool Day. Cool Day requires 1 month of aging. Light Mist requires 1 year. Cool Day requires cleaning and inspection of equipment every 10,000 liters. Light Mist requires such maintenance every 600 liters. So Jack has asked the accounting department to prepare an analysis of the cost per liter using the traditional costing approach and using activity-based costing. The following information was collected. So we're doing this all based on liters, right? So when we go through and look at this, is that we've got over here, answer each of the following questions. Under traditional product costing, using direct labor hours, compute the total manufacturing cost per liter of both products. So we've got over here, and remember, when we're going through and doing this for our analysis under activity-based costing, right, the direct materials per liter, direct labor cost per liter. Okay, so over here, my direct materials per liter are 40 cents, and my direct labor cost is 50 cents, $1.20 and 90 cents, right? So this is going to be the same no matter what we do, right? However, now what we have to kind of go through and figure out is we now need to know what is going to be my factory overhead cost per liter. So the way we're going to go through and figure this out in terms of the liters that are being produced. So for Cool Day and Light Mist. So for Cool Day, we have a total of 3 million liters. And Light Mist is going to be 600,000. Okay, so the direct labor hours per liter. This is 0.05, this is 0.09. So my total direct labor hours is going to be 3 million times 0.05, and then over here, this is going to be 0.09 times 600,000. So why did I go through and do this? Hold on. I take that back. Sorry, it's 300,000. My bad. Okay, so we got 3 million of liters per year of cool day, 300,000 liters of light mist. Okay, so my bad on that last one. So my direct labor hours per liter are right here at 0.5 and 0.09. If I multiply that by the number of liters, I get to my total direct labor hours. By the way, did you have to go through and do this step? No, but you always want to know where your numbers are coming from, especially in my class. So right over here, what I now need to do is I need to say, okay, if I'm allocating based on direct labor hours, my estimated overhead is 1,241,660. My total direct labor hours is going to be 177,000. So when I come over here, I take 1,241,660, divide it by 177,000 direct labor hours, and I'm now getting $7.02 per direct labor hour. So now I've got to go through and allocate it. So how do I do this? My total direct labor hours are going to be 150 and 27. My cost per, my overhead cost per direct labor hour is 702. So my allocation is going to be 1,052,254.20. And I want to make sure that this allocation, that this equals up to my total amount. Very important to do. Now, in terms of coming up, these are all in per liter, right? So what I now have to do is I have to take 3 million liters of cool day and 300,000 liters of light mist. My rate per liter is going to be 1,052,254. And this is going to be roughly 35 cents. And this over here is going to be at 63 cents. So my cost per liter is going to be 35 cents. And then this is going to be 63 cents, right? So my total cost per liter under cool day is going to be $1.25. And then for light mist, this is going to be $2.73. Let me just go through that one more time. The direct material per liter, direct labor cost per liter, and what we're going to be going through and doing under activity-based costing that is not in single plant-wide activity-based, these numbers will be exactly the same. And in fact, I'm just going to bring this down over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, activity-based costing, right, for cool day and for light mist, right, my direct materials, my direct labor cost per liter, none of this is changing, right? The basically over here, the 40, the 120, the 50, and the 90, none of this is changing, right? What's changing is my overhead cost per liter. So what I need to go through and do, and how did I get to this overhead cost per liter under single plant wide? So we produced a total of 3 million cool day liters, right? So I did 3 million and then I did 300,000 of light mist, okay? So I've got over here 3,300,000. The question tells me that my direct labor hours per liter was 0.05, and then I've got 0.09, right? So my total direct labor hours is going to be 150,000 and then 27,000. If I'm allocating this based on direct labor hours, I'm going to take my total estimated overhead, which is given to me. I'm going to divide this by my driver, which is going to be direct labor hours. This is going to give me $7.02 per direct labor hour. If I take my total overhead, my total direct labor hours, multiply this by 702, I'm going to come up with my allocation. I realize there are going to be easier ways to do this problem, but I'm doing it this way very intentionally. Okay, so over here, I do my allocation, and this has to equal up to the total amount of estimated overhead. Okay, so now what I have to do though, because I'm showing this in a per liter amount, I've got to go through and take 3,300,000. This is 1,052,254 divided by 3 million. This is 189,406 divided by 300,000. Okay, so I've got these up here. So now what I need to go through and do is to figure out what's going on with my activity-based costing. And let's go through and take a look at activity-based costing for this particular question. So for activity-based costing, I'm taking, instead of taking the total amount of overhead and dividing it by one driver, I'm basically parsing this out into areas. So over here, my cost pools, rape, processing, aging, bottling and corking, labeling and boxing, maintaining and inspecting equipment. Okay. So right over here. So my cost is going to be 145,860, 396, 270,189, 240, 800. So my total cost is 1,241,660. Okay, so that's my cost over here. Now, what's my next step? I've got to allocate this overhead to cool day and to light mist. So what I'm going to do is that my driver is going to be cart of grapes, total months, number of bottles, and then maintenance and number of inspections. Okay, so my driver amount. Okay, so my estimated use of cost drivers. This is going to be 6,600, 6.6 million, 900,000, 900,000, and this is going to be 800. What I'm now going to go through and do is I'm going to take my cost and I'm going to divide it by the driver. And this is going to give me my rate per driver. So over here, I've got 145,860, dividing it by 6,600. Over here, 396 times 6.6 million, 270 times 900,000, excuse me, 270,000 divided by 900, 189 divided by 900, 240, 800 divided by 800. Okay. All right. So now I'm ready to go through and figure out basically for cool day, driver amount, and we'll call this letter D. So I'm going to do my rate times the driver, and this is going to give me my allocation for cool day. All right. So my driver over here for cool day, this is 6,000. This is 3 million. This is 600,000. This is 600,000, and then this is going to be 350. So my allocation for cool day is going to be 132.6. Just follow this. The driver, which is C times D, is going to give you your allocation. When I go through and I add up these different amounts over here, I'm going to get 723,950. Now I could just go ahead and take 1,241,000 minus 723. I get 517, but I just want to make sure that I'm doing this correct. So my driver for light mist, and if I take the rate per driver times it by the driver for light mist, I'm going to get my allocation for light mist. So my driver for light mist is going to be 600, 3.6 million, 300,000, 300,000, and then 450. So again, if I take this, the rate per driver, multiply it over here, follow this through, right? Where are these numbers coming from? Times 2210. Okay. So if I go through and add these up, I get 517,710, which is the amount that we wanted it to be. Okay, now this is my total allocation. Now, but what do I have to do? This has to be in liters, right? So my liters for cool day were 3 million. My liters for light mist were going to be 300,000. So my rate per liter is going to be 723 divided by 3 million. Over here, this is going to be 517 divided by 300,000. Okay, so where did I get these numbers from? This is 723,950 divided by 3 million. Over here, this is going to be 517,710 divided by 300,000. Okay, so we're going to put these in a new funky color, not a funky color. So as we come and look at this over here, all of a sudden, light mist seems a lot more expensive, right? Now this has gone up by almost $1.09, whereas the price of cool day has dropped. So on a per liter basis, right? So light mist is taking up a lot more of our resources. So we don't want to just go through and do something with just activity-based costing or with single plant-wide overhead alone. So we've computed the manufacturing cost per liter for both products under ABC. And the one thing we really don't know, and if I look at this overhead cost per liter, so we're right on spot on the numbers. And let's just go ahead and take a look at the solution. For the first one, which was the single plant wide, and this is the exact same result that we went through and got. So this is single plant wide. And again, when we go to activity-based costing and are looking at this, again, materials and labor are not changing. The only thing that is changing is how we're going through and allocating it. So with activity-based costing a single plant-wide overhead, the first thing you kind of want to go through and do is allocate out the costs basically to each one of the products, then bring it back into the units, which is basically going to be going through and doing something like this in liters. Again, you want to make sure you're kind of going through, and this is something that's very important to practice. I know it sucks that you can't be using Excel for something like this if you're taking my class, but it's something you just want to kind of go through and practice. So let me just go ahead and pause real quick. So I want to give a huge shout out to Wiley, and I want to thank Wiley for allowing me to continue to make these videos for you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're looking for any other types of solutions, please feel free to ask for them in the contents or in the comments. Well, have a great day. I'll see you on the next video.